Guys, welcome to Tomo Talks. I'm Tomo Marjanovic, and I'm your mentor.
And I'm Nick Maciel from Wisdom Path Consulting, and I'm the mentee.
Welcome to Tomo Talks, guys. Shit. Yeah. So tell everybody that's watching, who you are, where you came from. You told me a little bit about you, but give a little bit of backstory, your name, your business, everything.
Yep. So I'm Nick Maciel, and I am a pretty unconventional case. So I grew up in a farm town. I think it's currently 10,000 people. My high school class is like 150 people, right? And it's called Groton, Massachusetts. It's just south of Nashua, New Hampshire, like bordered by Lowell, which is one of the second largest cities behind Boston. 45-minute drive from Boston. So I grew up in that town, didn't know what the hell I wanted to do, have a very supportive family, very strong still. And I went through school and I've always been a bookworm, right? So I've always been a grade A student. And I got a scholarship, which is the only way that I could afford to do uni. So I went the traditional route. I went to Northeastern in Boston. Mm-hmm. I got my degrees in mechanical engineering. So bachelor's and master's in that. And while I was in college, I needed a way to pay rent because after sophomore year, they cut you off from the subsidized rent, which isn't subsidized because it goes into your student loans and rolls up, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, I need to be like an adult before I thought I was going to be an adult.
Yeah, should
like
I just yell scam right away when I talk about this? Or
yeah, for sure. Okay. We'll get into that, right? No, because I believe college is not the prime accelerator after high school graduation as a collegiate graduate, right? Okay. So I view it as a blessing. I'm very grateful, right? I got interviews. I worked for Apple on, I can say it now because the expiration term on it, but I worked on the textile iPhone cases. Cool. So all of those on the wall was partially my design. As a paid intern, that's how I paid my way through. But then bills got tight and I'm like, okay, let me try being a business owner. And the only thing you can do in Boston other than being like a bar crawl influencer affiliate, which I didn't want to do.
Didn't even know that was a career. I would have fucking excelled at that in college.
You plan your whole year for St. Patrick's Day to get a big paycheck, right?
Wow.
It's a thing. College kids getting paid $30,000 once for a year worth of affiliate marketing for the bars and the restaurants.
Really?
Yeah, man.
I didn't know it was a thing.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't my thing, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I did rental real estate. Horrible.
Rental real estate. Okay.
Horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll tell you why, because your average deal size is like $500.
Did you hate it or did you like it?
Oh, it was miserable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it sounds awful.
Keep in mind, I had no acumen on like lead generation, any of the core pillars of business.
Sure.
And I had a broker that was, a little tough, that didn't teach you those things, right? So you'd get $600 on a paycheck if you were lucky to market yourself, list on apartments.com, hit up a person that wants to rent from you, go to the door, unlock the keys, which didn't work because they're all from 1820, all the apartments.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was doing that and I made enough money cut and dry to pay my bills, but that was like my first foray into entrepreneurship.
Okay.
I'm like, let me actually do something that merges my passion for tech with entrepreneurship. So I started a marketing agency, but it was focused, I was riding that wave, but it was focused on product development. So we were actually developing like CAD files and manufacturing prototypes and doing like paid ads and website development, basically business in a box for,
I want to just stop you.
Yeah.
This was all fun. 25-year-old me, this is fucking Chinese.
Really?
Just like, so,
I can boil it down.
No, I understand it now.
Yeah. Like CPG brands, right?
40-year-old me understands this, almost 40-year-old, 2 weeks. 39-year-old me, I'm not going to age myself.
39. Yeah.
39-year-old me understands this. After getting involved in business and being involved in multi-8-figure companies, and 9-figure companies plus with Goliath now, but at 25 years old, I want to just give you just a pat on the back of how impressive that is.
Appreciate that.
Because when I was 25, how old was I at 25? What are we talking about? What year was this? That'd have been
2007.
07, I would have been 22. So 09, 2010. So 2010, this kind of thing didn't really exist. You're almost same age as me. This didn't exist. Nobody at your age would have come even said half this shit, which is fucking cool.
And this is what I want. An interesting place.
Well,
right?
You're in a time right now where if you're 25 years old, you have so much opportunity for educating yourself.
Yeah.
And so much opportunity for advancement and so much opportunity with the tech involved here.
Yeah.
This shit we couldn't even couldn't even figure out how to learn this shit.
Yeah. No, it's true. And like Y2K, there was so much time after that before you could really like capitalize on the internet.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And I always I'll fully admit, there's actually a fear delta I still have in business, which is what you're doing, right? Brick and mortar to me is goddamn terrifying. Like I just shit bricks thinking about it.
It's not all it's cut out to be. It's not all it's cracked up to be. It's a lot of work.
Right.
It's a lot of work dealing with staff and dealing with in-person staff.
Yeah.
Like,
but all I've ever known is digital capitalism,
which is fucking cool. It's super cool.
Yeah.
No, and it is honestly, and that's part of what the future is. Now it goes in waves, right?
Yeah.
Because brick and mortar is kind of coming back in certain aspects.
Well, like we have sidewalks and places to be. You know, like it's still needed.
It's still needed. Yeah. So please go on with your story. I had to tell you that because it's super impressive just listening to this, and I'm like, fuck me at 25, this wouldn't have made. This was literally Martian.
That's crazy. Well, it seems Martian to me every day as well. Like you just go through the ebbs and flows. And so I've kept the same entity. I actually restructured the entity like legally.
Okay.
And now it's Wisdom Path is the name of my company.
Okay.
And we're an AI automations agency. Okay. So we actually scrapped all of the hard work and pivoted to early stage marketing with GPT and like when the initial models came out.
Yep.
And like GPT-3. And then we started capitalizing on agentic AI over the last like 12 to 18 months when no-code platforms started to get really popular. So you can go on websites like n8n.io, make.com, and basically be like a nobody in the space of like knowing how to actually work with AI and program AI and develop like real agents that can handle calls, lead generation in your business, LinkedIn DM setting, different functions of the business, right?
And they're intuitive. Yeah,
and
which is creepy.
Yeah, so we're like that on crack where we actually have like in-house developers with the ability to program in Python, React, JavaScript and stuff, work with machine learning. And so like my most recent client, we had a solar sales team out in Colorado. We actually just replaced their entire staff of, this is where we can talk about with AI dialers.
Okay. Well, what was their staff doing precisely?
Cold calling.
Okay.
But so it wasn't cold. So it was a warm calling system. It's like a Rolodex that they would have in a VoIP platform. It's basically like business phones that you can mask your actual phone line with.
What did you do for them?
Yeah. So what we did is we went in and first consulted them and made sure like, is this actually something that we can work with?
Sure.
Because it's one thing for like, we have voice models in house that are white labeled.
How much money did you save them?
Annually about like 80 grand.
80,000 annually.
Yeah. And like labor costs. Yeah.
And labor costs.
So they didn't fire anyone, but they like stopped their guys warm dialing and moved their guys onto like DM setting, which is interesting because like we can also
do that.
Yeah. So we're just playing that sensitive spot where we've already saved them that money. And what I like about that space is you can command a reasonable fee that makes the client happy, that makes us happy, and also you're getting better conversion results inside the business.
And see, that's the thing is the business is being helped. Yeah. You're making the business more money.
Yeah.
You save the business money on certain staffing. You guys make some money, which is needed.
Yeah.
Right? And people have like this weird feeling about AI. Oh, AI is going to take jobs of people away.
It can.
Yeah, but it's jobs of people that really aren't. They're kind of doing fuck all.
Yeah.
I hate to say it.
Yeah.
Like I hate to be that blunt about it, but they're, if you think that you're going to make a full career, anybody watching or listening, from just blindly dialing warm leads and calls and doing what any, I'm sorry, like useless monkey can do, you're going to be replaced by a bot.
Well, it's interesting too, because you look at incentives, right? So what do salespeople want to do? And it's like funny when you go into the fundamentals of it, because you can like hoorah your way through cold calling like all day long and have like a good sales organization, which I'm a firm believer in. But
it's needed in some places.
But like if you ask someone objectively, what would you prefer to do? Like watch Netflix or that? Like objectively, it's always watch Netflix.
Sure.
Like once you pierce the veil of like, all right, stop beating your chest. Like what do you actually want to do in life? Like I want to like have fun, go on vacation, provide for my family, relax, right? Okay, so if you want consciousness to be the currency of your business instead of money, right? Then how about we keep you in the organization, but we actually leverage your time and talent in a way that not only is smarter, but that they actually enjoy. Like when's the last time you asked the sales rep, like, are you actually happy?
I mean, ask any employee, are they actually happy?
Yeah.
But that's also the problem with it too. It's like, we need employees.
We do.
Right?
Yeah.
Not everybody can be a CEO.
No.
Not everybody can be a business
owner. Replaced by AI.
and not everybody can be replaced by AI. So when I talk to anybody that says, "Oh, well, AI is evil and it's going to replace," what if it replaces my job? What if it replaces your job? That means you didn't make yourself valuable enough in the marketplace.
Yeah.
So it behooves you to be valuable.
Yeah.
It behooves you to learn shit.
Yeah.
I use AI constantly.
Yeah.
Has AI replaced anybody, Gary? Has it replaced anybody?
Has AI replaced you, Gary? He's standing
I can't
right
replace
here
Gary.
No.
I can't. I have to bring Gary to Dubai with me next week. I have to because I fucking love Gary because Gary is the reason that this runs.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And Jade and Hunter. So we've used AI more than ever in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Has it replaced anybody? It's only made us more efficient.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
So yeah, and this goes into why I changed the company name to Wisdom Path, right? Is actually a little aside, but I personally came to Christ like in the last year, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna put God in my business, right? So how do I do that? So if you actually pay attention to like info products and the information economy, right now, if you look at levers of wealth, right, people are actually getting paid for their consciousness, which is a hard concept to conceive as a business person. Like the way that you prompt your ChatGPT is significantly more valuable than ChatGPT as a model.
Absolutely. I've prompted my ChatGPT to basically be an expert in everything in my industry, which is super fun.
Yeah, no, I have a codependent relationship, platonic relationship with ChatGPT.
This is, it's funny, and I've heard girls being like, ChatGPT is my best therapist.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, yeah.
It might also be her boyfriend.
It might also be your boyfriend.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, they would replace us with robot.
I mean, they're smooth
Although
talkers.
we probably would replace them with robot too.
I actually put out a reel on this. I'm like, would you invite like a sentient Tesla bot to your date to like prevent arguments with your girl?
Fuck, that's a hard
like
question for me.
Politically good third wheeler.
That's a hard. I mean, but then wouldn't you just want to replace her with the robot?
Wouldn't you? Yeah, wouldn't you feel some type of way like masculine competitiveness, but it's not like truly sentient? So it's like a weird gray zone, right?
Bro, we're getting into the weeds here. This is gonna get
How did
bad.
we get here?
It's gonna get bad. We just made like at least half a dozen people break up with their boyfriend or girlfriend.
Yeah.
They're like, wait, no, I don't need you anymore.
And we just tipped off a greedy venture capitalist to
it's gonna happen. But it's already happening.
Yeah,
it's already happening.
Exactly.
Like, did you see weird segue from that conversation, but did you see that I'm super anti we can't say the word what do we corn? We can't say puh. We can say corn.
No, understood.
Yeah. So because it'll like block. It's so stupid. So OnlyFans, right?
Yeah.
I guess like almost half of the top OnlyFans accounts are actually completely AI females.
So I'm connected to some people, not directly because I wouldn't work with people like that, just out of principle, but I'm connected to people that do that.
They're completely AI. The images are AI. It's not even a real person.
No, yeah.
It's a completely fake, and they're making millions.
Yeah. Yeah. Even the ones that only show AI feet, which is crazy, right?
You know how insane that is?
Invest in like, not to be like devil's advocate, but if you're going to invest in like agentic AI to the point where like, if you're going to drop $150 per agent on VO3 on that you see the new videos coming out?
Yes.
AI videos?
Yeah.
But you're going to do that for OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Then why would you just stick to feet? Like, I'm not saying go further because I don't like it morally, but why, right?
It's a good question. That's the thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But the whole point is like, people are paying basically just, it's a fake, it's an alternate reality.
Yeah.
It's a completely fake reality. People would rather live there.
Yeah. So I see a lot of spiritual battle in this space.
Okay.
Right? Like what's the core issue? The core issue is not that like you or me or Gary can go and like build these, AI genitalia and just blast it all
AI
over
girlfriends,
the place.
AI boyfriends. Yeah.
Yeah. The core issue is like, what is the rooted heart posture of men in today's society?
Well, you just said
the
value in consciousness, right?
Yeah. So it's a battle, right? Because this tool of AI, it's interesting because it's, if you think about the ultimate creator and then creation, creator creates creation, which creates creation. And that's the cycle of everything that we do, right? And so what we create with our hands is a testament to our relationship with our creator. That's what I believe. So if we're going to use a tool like AI for that purpose, that says something about the founder, not the AI. And then if we're going to use it for holistic purposes, it's vice versa. Yeah.
Interesting. It's a good perspective. And for somebody that works with AI.
It's tough though, because I have to.
Do you ever have a conflict of interest when it's coming constantly?
Like it makes NDAs different. It makes letters of intent different, like when you're conducting business as an AI agency. And I also have to HIPAA comply, FCPA comply. It depends on the client. I have to host everything on local servers on the client's machine that I remote into, because there's new compliance regulations from the SEC and different government organizations.
Yep.
I don't want to be in the hook for 25-year-old Nick's jovial client project today, like 10 years down the road in court.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
That's the hard thing that I have to face, is like when I onboard clients, I'm like, so I know that you want me to develop this with my team like tomorrow, and I can, but it's going to be like a week of boring onboarding where we ask you for like your EIN number and like, it's like, right? Like, yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So your background, I mean, this is super interesting. Very impressive, by the way.
Appreciate it.
For a 25-year-old man who you've really built, you're not a mechanical engineer. Although you probably did take a lot from that.
I will DIY whatever I can, even though it's low leverage.
Cool.
Like I just got a new bed installed at my house, but I wanted like, have you ever seen those cool slats that makes like a U shape around the bottom so you can step into the bed and it's upholstered, you know? It like floods the bed out into the room.
Did you make that yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. So
with ply and like
I'm the exact opposite of that. I
Right.
refuse, bro. I don't even want to look at like, how can I explain this, Gary? I don't want to do anything.
No, I get that.
I can pay somebody to do at this point.
Yeah.
My time, like I will not put together a piece of furniture.
So it's one of those battles I have, right? Because as in the entrepreneurial landscape, I'm like, okay, I'm like receding my value per hour, and I'm like objectively slowing down the growth of my business, right? But do
you find it to be a problem, like an actual problem?
I battle with it.
Okay.
Right? Because we all have leisures. But I'm like, I love it so much that I'm like, it's
you enjoy
cool.
it.
Yeah.
But that's
I'm like,
different.
I have to.
But that's different.
Yeah. If I spend 2 hours on that, it's better than 2 hours at a bar.
Correct.
Right.
I hate putting together furniture. So I won't do it. I'll pay exorbitant amounts of money to not do it.
Right.
Like literally. I will do whatever I can to do things that, one, you know, you look at, what did you say, like your hourly value, right? Do you ever calculate that out?
Yeah.
What's it at?
1,800
$1,800 an hour.
for consulting. Yeah.
Sick, bro. It's good. 25-year-old, $1,800 an hour.
And then I leverage, like, in terms of the time to fulfill a project.
Sure.
I do a proportionate basis on what I'm paying my subcontractors against my $1,800 an hour. And then if that money makes sense, which it almost always does, because the value of like the solar company.
It should. Yeah.
Yeah. Like my value as a founder should always be beneath that of like the board.
Yeah.
Always.
So what do you hate doing?
What do I hate doing? Yeah. I hate writing.
Writing?
Yeah. Hate it.
Interesting.
I was like the anti-English class, like my whole life though. But like with anything.
Writing or typing?
If
or just
someone
like
told
any
me
creative like that?
Not that it's creative, but writing in specific. That modality I don't like.
Okay.
So if you told me, right, I'll give you $1 million a year from now if you journal consistently every day, I would fail.
Interesting.
And I'd willingly fail. I'd be like, get
I'm
me
just
to
not
do
doing
anything else.
Yeah.
Throw me in a pit of sharks.
Would you
Right?
would you have somebody do it for you, where you can speak and then have somebody write it for you?
That's what my agents do, my GPTs and
So
yeah.
your AI bot basically does
yeah,
that.
like I have different models that I use for different purposes because I've tested all of them. So like Claude AI, like Anthropic's models tend to be better for like content creation, blog writing, stuff like that. But then I won't write the blog. I have a recursive AI that just every 24 hours creates and prompts a blog and puts it up on the site.
Let's give a value. Let's give a piece of value to everybody watching. This is super cool. Give somebody the top 3 AI things that are AI platforms, anything that they should look into immediately.
Yeah. So platforms.
Whatever. I don't even know how to say it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's 39. Okay. 30.
Yeah. No, I want to make it
The
accessible.
internet was created while I was alive, by the way.
Yeah.
So as you who grew up with the internet and all this shit,
yeah,
give them the 3 best. How do I even say this? AI bots, AI
for sure.
tools, AI, whatever it is. Okay.
So I'll make it super accessible for everyone who's watching at home.
Cool.
Because I want people, like, if you have a $50 budget, like even a 15-year-old that has allowance money can do this. So there's an amazing no-code voice agent like starter platform called VAPI, V-A-P-I. And it's very intuitive. You go in, you can link a virtual phone number for free, and that you can actually use to dial from, by the way. And you can prompt it, choose your model and just test it, and choose a voice from public libraries. And there's thousands of options. You combine those together, and then you have a voice agent that you can start to like play with and talk to. And it's not that bad. You can train it, right? So
does it get better and more intuitive as you train it?
Yes, and depending on the models you use.
Got it.
And there's like 100 sliders for different variables with it, and you got to kind of really know what you're doing there. But it will never be a fully like flushed out model because you need to program that in. But it's really good enough to like spook your parents if you want to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So vappy, and then not vapes. So kids, stay away from the vape and
honestly
hop on the vappy.
It's I can't even say it out loud. It's so lame, bro.
Yeah.
It's so weak.
Yeah.
If I see a man sucking on a vape, it's brutal to me.
Yeah.
I want to put a little like penis tip on there.
Right. Or like a big shirt, like the black shirt like this with white lettering, oral fixation.
Yeah. That's we won't say what we're actually thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. What are the other two?
Anyways, the other two. So honestly, I would play around with Grok. Elon's model, Grok 3.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good. I would just play with that if you want to like a language model. But I want to play with ChatGPT. That's fine. Anyone can. But the reason I like Grok is because it has high, what I call emotivity. There's these fancy Latin words that are actual descriptors for how you program AI. Emotivity is one of them. And it's different from sentiment. So these are different things.
Okay.
So emotivity is specifically reaction-based emotional matching. So if you're sad, let me be sad to match your frequency.
Got it.
Whereas sentiment is like, oh, like your parents died, I feel bad for you. Like that thing doesn't actually feel it, but
it's going to repeat your sentiments.
That's more context.
Got it. Okay.
So Grok has high emotivity. So it's basically like, I recommend it, especially for young people, where like if you really are going through a tough time, it's not going to be one of those models that goes into a lawsuit because it says the wrong thing. Like it's flushed out to be very good with handling your emotions as a human and talking to it as a friend.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I recommend it. And then I would say the third website, which freeware, is make.com, make.com.
Make.com.
It is the most boiled down software platform where you have bubbles that you connect, almost like Zapier, which more business owners are familiar with. But it's like Play-Doh version of Zapier. So if you're really just like, I want to whittle this down, I'm dumb as a rock with this stuff, I just want to connect a Google Sheet to my CRM or to my website. You connect the bubbles, you link the data fields, drag and drop, right? Almost like scratch coding when you're in school as a kid.
Yeah, okay.
And
I didn't have
done.
that when a kid. We didn't have coding.
That's right. It's hosted on their servers. It's free up to like 1,000 executions a month or something like that. And I'm not plugged in with like, there's no affiliate business, funny business, right?
Yeah,
but
he's not giving you a code.
Yeah, right. So that's going to be your entry foray, and you can start an automation business from that. So
wow, it's cool, man.
Yeah,
super cool.
Yeah,
that's a good value add because people get a little spooked with AI.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. So all right, so then you as a 25-year-old true entrepreneur, you are an entrepreneur, and that word gets you are. I'm from the old man.
My girl calls me a teddy bear, but
that's fine.
That's right.
You're
whatever the label is, right?
Yeah, you're a teddy bear entrepreneur. So from me to you, I'm looking at you because the word entrepreneur gets thrown around too much. I think you would agree.
Yeah, but I commend anyone that makes a penny on the internet or off the internet.
Well, I mean, I think the term entrepreneur, there's an actual definition. The difference between a business owner, an operator, and an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is creating something from nothing, which is what you did. You created from scratch, from zero. And you created this business. An entrepreneur comes up with not only the concept, they do the ideation, they do the work, and then they expand from there. So I'm considering you an entrepreneur, which is awesome. You're a 25-year-old entrepreneur. You got a nice watch. You dress nice. You drove all the way to have this conversation, right? And thank you for that. I appreciate the honor of you coming here and doing that and having this conversation, not just for us, but for everybody else.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
What, as a 25-year-old entrepreneur, what do you feel like you're missing? What do you feel like you need help with? Because I mean, I can give you 900 different AI fucking problems that I'm having right now that I'm probably, we might, honestly, I might hire you for some shit, honestly, because we could have some fun. Yeah.
I might need some stems. I don't know how that works.
Sick, bro. Let's get you reverse aging. You haven't even aged yet.
Yeah.
You're 25.
I already found some gray hair, so we can talk about that. But,
did you? Yeah. That's the stress. We will talk about that.
There's good stress. And
so what are you needing as a 25-year-old entrepreneur? What's the thing that's kind of like bogging you down, worrying you? I'm curious how I can help you.
It's less so of a, and this is what I came prepared with, right? It's less so of a concrete, and I have my concrete questions, but
sure.
I would say the number one thing I struggle with is I'm not where I need to be right now.
Oof.
Right?
Fuck, none of us are.
And I can watch all the motivational talk I want.
Yep.
I can understand spiritually that like, okay, dude, calm down in your head and it's good to go. And I do that work. I do that work on a daily, right? But truly getting to a convergence point in my business where like I haven't reached the point. I feel like every entrepreneur reaches like I made it point, even though they still reach for a threshold, right? There's like that moment where you look at someone or something or some client and you're like, okay, I made it, right? I haven't reached that yet. Okay. And so I'm like, there's so many variables that could take my business down, but there's also so many partners that we have in-house and so many variables that are bringing it up.
Sure.
I'm uncertain of the future as much as I have a plan.
Isn't that funny though? But like that future uncertainty, that's a stress and anxiety point that everybody has, but nobody should spend a single minute paying attention to.
Right, but it's like the thing for me.
Yeah.
So as soon as I overcome that block,
you're not unique. I'm going to tell you, you're not unique in this. This is anybody that's a high achiever, including myself. And the reason that I'm so in tune to it is because I've recognized it, but also I've gone through. Okay, I'll ask you a couple of leading questions. Have you failed, fallen on your face, flat on your face, fucked yet?
Yeah, I was $150,000 in credit card debt 2 years ago through what was the V1 of this business.
Good.
And I faced Chapter 7.
Good.
And I had a $100,000 trade secret lawsuit that was frivolous.
Good.
And I got dismissed, but like that, I went through all that. I had a breakup at the same time. I had to move back in with my parents.
Oh, it's fantastic. Breakup's fucking
just
great.
soaking it up.
Oh, I fucking love it, bro. This gets me so excited.
But you know what's interesting? So I've gotten to a point where despite that versus the good times, so I've become what I would consider relatively flat leveled, like objectively.
Have you realized how good all those failures were for you yet?
Logically, yes, but you haven't gone through the full stage of grief of like.
When did this happen?
You know what I mean?
When did this happen?
2 years ago.
Okay, so still relatively new, but it's not holding you back.
My momentum is the thing that will cause me to forget the lesson.
Okay, so I really want you to dig deep because so like I've been through breakups recently. You know, I'm divorced. Okay. I'm actually going through divorce, not divorced fully yet. No, bro, listen, best thing could happen.
Good riddance.
No, not at all. Listen, my ex is awesome. Yeah. We have a daughter together.
Yeah,
and she's a fucking fantastic mother.
Yeah.
Best mother, and I hope that her and I will become the best of friends. I hope she finds somebody to spend her life with.
That's real.
And that's real. Bro, she's not a bad woman at all. We were just bad together. Simple.
That's so real. That's how I feel about
fantastic. Yeah. But when I have gone through breakups in the past, I've had points where I'm like, you get the sadness and the depression, and then you go into a negative way. But every single time when I can think of it now in my older and wiser self, I'm like, ooh, man, all those breakups and all those negative things, all those falling flat on my face. I'm so excited that happened. And I almost can't wait for the next failure to happen because every time I fail, I move up in such a tremendous way because it elevates me.
Yeah.
And the reason why I asked right away about have you failed and have you really fallen on your face, and you just told me 150K in debt and Chapter 7 and, I got broken up with too. And this, I'm like, fuck yes, bro. Awesome. And the first thing that I asked you after that was, do you realize how good it was for you? And you said you haven't really fully went through that yet.
Like I know it's good for me. Like I can say that because I know it's true.
Bro, it's 100%. It's the best thing that could have happened to you.
Yeah.
It's the best thing. Have you ever heard the saying, the worst things that happened to me were the best things that happened to me?
Yeah.
It's 100% true. Every breakup, every failure, if you take the lesson out of it, right?
Yeah.
I constantly say that I never lose. I can't lose. It's impossible. I don't know how to lose.
So I'll tell you, I operate in a unique space and relationship with marketing in particular. So the reason that the business had failed in version 1 was because of a lack of marketing and like just like a lack of overall marketing, right?
Okay.
And so I was not willing to take the necessary risk reward measures to advertise and to continue to grow the marketing side of the business.
Got it. So you're looking at it from a complete logical perspective.
I mean, just for now, right?
Sure.
But getting into that from an emotional perspective, right? So mindset, not that it's a sob story, because I had a good foundational childhood, right? But I was bullied, and I was always, grade A kid, on a roll.
It's really hard for me to not say good.
Good.
Dude, it's really hard for me. I swear to God, it's really hard for me.
That's like the Goggins.
I almost blurted it out.
Yeah, but so this is my truth from, and so I've always, dude, I'm a nerd, man. I'm a nerdpreneur, right?
I love it.
And so when you operate in that space, you operate in competition with a lot of people that are what I believe are, a lot of people are unhealed.
Yep.
They'll take the money. They won't fulfill. They don't care about the client. It's just like brute force business. And so I have a lot of competitors that are brute force business that are doing a 10x, 20x multiple on my business.
Got it.
With similar timing to the business.
Mm-hmm.
And
does that bother you?
It upsets. I'm not gonna, of course it bothers me, right? Because I want the landscape to change for the better for people, for humanity, for potential, not just potential clientele.
Do you think they have the same outlook?
Maybe.
Do you think, or do you know?
I think no.
Okay.
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Sure. You ever asked them?
I should do more of that.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to talk to competition.
Because I get into the, that's a huge nugget I'm taking home. Because I get into the circle with potential competition that becomes a good partnership for business by nature of the personality being the same or similar.
Oh, no. You want to go with the exact opposite.
Dude, I haven't done that yet.
It's so fun.
So I got a foray into the jungle.
Yes.
And
you want to talk. And you want
the brain.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, listen, whether or not they realize that you're competition, you realize your competition. And it's almost...
they realize.
If they do this, great.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they don't, it's even better.
True. Keep your enemy... You know what? I've never done that. I've never kept the enemy closer.
It's not a hard concept. It's just one that's very uncomfortable for a lot of people. It is uncomfortable.
Right.
You know? But also you're...
Not shatteringly uncomfortable. I just haven't prioritized it.
You're exposing yourself somewhat. It's like you're going into... It's like you're in battle. Okay, you're in battle. We're gonna do an old school reference. You're in battle, and you're that. And yeah, you guys have been going at it 3, 4, 5 days straight, killing everybody's dying. And then you're the general, and you come up with a white flag. They could very easily take you out with a fucking bow and arrow and say, "Oh, and see it, weird."
Yeah.
So you're going out, you're exposing your belly a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's for a purpose, and you know,
I'm a pacifist, and what I've learned is in business. Sometimes that is not exactly the highest lever, is to be a pacifist. But you know what it feels like? I've sharpened a sword for that battle.
Sure.
But I've never cut the skin.
Sure.
Right?
But all you need to really do, you don't even necessarily need to cut. All you need to do is either have the perception that you're ready to unsheath it or actually unsheath it. Maybe not even halfway. So you can see the blade. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
It's a very fun way of looking at it, and also you're measuring against something that is not even necessarily in the same path as you, which is one part of what you were telling. I feel like I haven't made it yet. I feel like I have. You're right.
Yeah,
and
I don't respect my path enough. That's true. If I had to be very honest and introspective, I respect the reference path. I don't respect my own path enough.
Correct, but your reference path is actually nothing. It doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Your reference path is the path of others.
Yeah.
You're doing something completely different for a completely different way. So how are you even going to reference?
Yep.
You have no reference. You are the reference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. And then you operate in ego, which is why things fail.
Which is,
it's
fun, bro.
That's a huge nugget. That's a huge nugget. If I just showed up today for that, it's true. I think that might be the blocker, right?
Yeah.
Because I need to actually, even if it's transparent, like, hey, you and I are competing, but do you want to get dinner? You know?
Don't even bring up the competing part.
No, not even bring it up explicitly.
No.
But the energy is always going to be there, right?
Of course.
And just doing that more. Like I've never actually had any companionship, even in a small degree, with competition. So I need to do that. Yeah.
It'll be fun for you.
Yeah.
It'll be fun for you because you're smart. You know, that's the best part about it.
Because what I realized, and I appreciate that. What I realized is that I started to build momentum with the actual marketing. Like now I'm ripping content and it's getting traction, which is great.
Awesome.
But then there's that extra edge, which is the aggression, which is the desire for, okay, you can desire to want to change the world, but like no one changes the world on like Venture 2.0. People like sometimes people do, but it's Venture 2.0 morphed, hybridized, added, subtracted, you know. Most people change the world like what? KFC, Colonel Sanders changed the world on Venture 58.0 or whatever the heck the amount of businesses he started. So, yeah.
You know, but it's not really, you don't even need to actually think about when that's going to happen.
Yeah. That's a struggle though. That's an honest struggle.
You have your what is that called? Futurescaping, you know. So you're trying to almost bring about that future scenario before you even, and you have started before you even gotten to maybe step 5. You're at step 99 in your head.
Yeah.
And we all do that.
Yeah.
Anybody who wants to be hyper successful does it.
Yeah.
And even people that don't even think even remotely like us, any of us in this room, he's an entrepreneur too.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Yeah. He is. He's got his own business. He's multiplied his income. What? Didn't you just leave firefighting a year ago?
Wow. Oh, that's awesome.
What have you, 4 extra income already in a year? 5 extra income in a year?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Sick, bro.
Yeah.
You know, so we all look at that future idea of what we think is successful, but that is always going to be changing. But even people that aren't even looking or behave like us or think like us, they do it with minuscule things.
Yeah.
They do it with their kids in school. They do it with the college fund. They do it with, you know, getting that next raise by just making it through their job in the next 24 months.
Right.
Simple little shit, right?
Yeah.
But whether or not they're fulfilled, you know, for us, for guys like us, a lot of the practices that I do, and you don't have to write because you hate writing, but you can do it with your GPT bot.
Yeah.
You can.
I talk to it all the time.
You can do it with something like that. Do you practice gratitude?
I do, but I can always improve.
How do you
I feel like
practice
people
it?
are students of gratitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I consider gratitude praying.
Yeah. No, gratitude is objectively a form of prayer.
Form of prayer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So how do you practice gratitude?
I recite a lot, right? So I'll grab my attention to something that I consider to be menial in the room. That's the easiest form of gratitude is I'm grateful for how comfortable this seat is so that, you know,
Cool.
I can go home comfortable later, for
Love
example.
Love that.
Sounds stupid on the surface level, right? But that's gratitude. And then I think you start to manifest that into deeper regions of your life.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I practice gratitude.
Okay.
I believe there are deeper forms of practicing gratitude than that.
Okay.
I think that you can actually give something to someone as a form of gratitude. I think you can provide your free time to somebody as a form of gratitude. I think you can show yourself self-gratitude without being egotistical.
Mm-hmm.
That I would say is like the pillar of gratitude is like, can you actually look in the mirror?
Give me an example.
Yeah. I mean, can you look in the mirror after a day where you made a mistake, like you yelled at someone you didn't want to or whatever? This is like the example in my mind is like physically looking in your bathroom mirror.
Yeah.
And you know when you catch your pupils and it's like a very spiritual moment and dude, I felt crazy shame for stuff that you don't necessarily like. If you were to look at the thing I did or said, you'd be like, you don't have to shame yourself that bad. Like,
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I feel like all of us go through that, like that lock in the mirror. And that's really where
It's kind of like, fuck.
that's the battle
Yeah. Okay.
of if you can get to a point where that's the goal is like instinctually having that gratitude in that moment. I feel like the rest cascades,
I like that.
but I could be wrong. It's an experiment in the works.
It's all about how it moves you and how you perceive it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the reason why I bring up gratitude and, you know, I'm big on affirmations. I'm big on manifestation.
Yeah.
Which is usually not part of a religious thing. Especially Christianity. They kind of like go against it. Even Islam as well.
So you know what's interesting? So I was an atheist for all my life.
Until?
And then I became Muslim.
Okay.
And then I changed to follow Christ.
Okay.
Which is like unconventional, digression, big path, right? That's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about religion is, and like even me bearing the cross, for example. So I think religion is not good for humanity.
Okay.
Which is a crazy statement.
Well, I have a cross. I have a cross on me too.
Right.
I don't know if you noticed, but I also have a.
You have some cool stuff on there too.
I also have a Quran in my bag.
Oh, amazing! I have one at home too.
So
Hadith,
it's like
I have Hadith at home.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, I don't necessarily. We're probably have the same idea of religion.
Yeah. It's
we
funny.
believe in God.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's funny how people constrain a all sentient universal God that is within us and extraneous as well. Like people try to constrain the creator, and that's what religion is. It's just a constraint. Now people would argue like, oh, but my word of God is better than your word of God, right? That's where you get into the gray. That's where you get into the thicket, right? But you have to understand that there's spiritual realms, that there's a spiritual veil, and there's spiritual realms that exist that Buddhists call different names, Hindus call different names, Christians, Muslims all call different names. But if you actually look into the context, it's actually the same description of salvation, of hell, sin,
Mm-hmm.
and the same description of the spiritual realm and how spirits interact with humans and how God works in people's lives. But it's just boiled down into whether you say Yeshua, Allah, whatever you say, it's the same thing, right? And depending on how you intercede and how you communicate with that God is what dictates your relationship with that God. And then from there you can proceed. But I don't think that doctrinal religion is a net positive, and I don't think that any prophet of God would, like George Washington, if he saw Los Angeles today, right? He's like, my US, I love my US. He would look at that and be like, crap, right? I feel like I can't speak prophetically on behalf of prophets that are long past, but I would guess or surmise that they would say the same thing. They'd be like, what are y'all doing with all this ceremony stuff and this?
You guys fucked this up.
Yeah, right? Like, I came and showed you love
Yeah.
and like understanding and mercy, not like you have to do this and that and yeah.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the pomp and circumstance and all the ritual and all that stuff, that's all human made.
It is.
Yeah. The message of what the prophets have all said, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm mostly talking about the Abrahamic religions.
Yeah.
That's what I grew up. I grew up Roman Catholic.
They have the strongest accord with each other.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the Judaism, Islam, and Christianity,
Yeah.
they all follow basically the same doctrine.
Yeah.
It's just some are not
It's
recognizing
literally-
certain prophets.
It's a messianic difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. It's also, I mean,
Yeah.
people don't realize, like, Islam believes in Jesus.
Yeah. He's mentioned several times, so many times.
A lot.
In the Quran.
A lot in the Quran. Yeah. I'm finishing reading the Quran for the fourth time now. Obviously translation, which it's hard to read it in traditional Arabic.
You being the CEO of Aspire, you know a little bit about the pineal gland.
Yeah.
Would you say, right? One of the I love the spiritual synchronicities of religions, despite the fact that I think they're, they could be shifted to something more spiritual. But if you actually look at the spinal fluid and the pineal gland, there's a circulatory process with the pineal fluid, and you can correct me, you can steer me where I'm wrong. From what I understand, what's interesting is when you look at Islam explicitly mentions in scripture that the soul is located in the tailbone or the coccyx, like spiritually in the body. And then Christianity with the cross and God saying, I made you in my image. I made Adam in my image, mankind. What's interesting about that is that if you look at the way a cross is shaped, you have the heart posture, which is level with the horizontal line, and the long bar is down below, which covers hell and sin at the heel of man. And the ascension, which is the top of the cross, is actually the piercing of the spiritual veil. And the pineal gland in the head is actually at the top of the cross. And the spine follows the cross, right? So if you actually look into things that are labeled as sinful behaviors, which are just things that just kind of tear you down over time, drugs, right? Stuff like that.
Anything hedonistic,
it
basically.
breaks the pineal, right? And then your pineal actually expands when you do things like pray, meditate, sleep properly, worship, etc. And what's interesting is that almost every single person that describes a death experience where they're in the hospital bed and they ascend or whatever, they always explain the same feeling of compression up from the coccyx through the head and compression back down. Like if you read real reputable authors from different parts of the world that have died on the table, they say one fancy version of the same thing. And so what's interesting is you look at that pineal relationship and then you take all of the Abrahamic corollaries that I just talked about, and it all relates back to the design of man by God.
Yeah.
And so, but yet you still have people arguing because like one person celebrates on Saturday, the other celebrates on Sunday. But stuff like that, I think, can unite people.
And it should.
Yeah.
And it should. And if you really look throughout most of history, we actually have no idea about, by the way. I'm sure you agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. History's written by the winners.
Corrupt. Yeah.
Yeah. History's written by the winners. And, we talk about the Abrahamic religions, and I did a bunch of reading and research, and I don't know if I'm not going to quote any of this from anything, but I remember reading this and researching this, and it talks about, the missing years from Jesus Christ. So, Jesus Christ and obviously Christianity, he's the G, he's the one, right? And in Islam, they say, Jesus was a messenger, a prophet of God, peace be upon him. And he does have some ties in Judaism,
Yep.
but they don't believe in a lot of the things. You know,
He's prophesied, but then they believe like, okay, you could talk about him in the prophesying, but he's not like the Messiah that has like the second principles.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's those little differentiators.
It's a messianic difference.
There's those little differentiators, but they talk about the missing years of Jesus, and I've read this in a few different places. Did you know that Dalai Lama has actual? You know, Dalai Lama,
Dude, I've heard of the India theory.
It's from everything that I've researched, it's real.
Yeah,
it's real. He was in India. He was in Asia.
Yeah,
he went and practiced Buddhism.
Yeah,
he went and practiced Hinduism.
Yeah,
and there's depictions of him, and that's some of the oldest cultures on the planet.
Yeah.
And they've been writing for a very long time.
Yeah.
And Dalai Lama's writing and his scribes and everything that he's actually written himself throughout generations.
Yeah.
It's very, very well preserved.
Yeah.
And he talks about this person coming to him from the Middle Eastern region. I'm like, how can you refute any of this stuff?
Yeah.
And it's all just tied together.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then you ask yourself, right, if one were to believe that the word of God is written as it should be deployed or distributed, which is a solid argument if you would say that like the creator is fashioned it to be that way, right? Then you would also beg the question, okay, if he visited all these civilizations, which is totally a Jesuit thing to do, right? It's so cool, right? If he visited all of them, what is this constraint that's created in scripture about like the covenant with Israel, for example, right? And what's the speciality created there? And why would that be the only civilization that's really upheld strongly between both testaments in the Bible, right? I think it has to do with the context of what God chooses to provide and what he chooses to omit. Because is there a like massive interreligious, interspiritual, world-binding conflict happening in India right now? No. And even if India went to war with Pakistan, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Or like, is there one in Antarctica? No. Right? There's probably a dude living out there. But there's one in Israel and there's one in Palestine, right? Like there's one in that region, right? Yeah. So and it's very related to almost every single prophecy in all the books, right? So that's what I love about God is my relationship in understanding him is he's so on the sharp point with like, here's what I'm giving you. Y'all don't need to know all this and that, right? This is what I choose to provide to you in the form of scripture. And then there's relationship with God, right? Like interacting with animals, nature, other people, right? Which is like a big gift in and of itself.
And there's a big saying, and it transcends all religion. God is the best of planners. Allah is the best of planners.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if God is the best of planners, I'm going to circle back to you. What are you worried about?
Right. And that's the prayer that gets made, right?
Yeah.
Is you put it on him. There's that saying, you put it on God, right? Which is funny because all the challenges were always put in his hands to take care of, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
but it's recognition.
But if you truly believe, and it's hard to get our humanity and our human nature and our human worry and all this stuff. It's like, I could be doing more. Why am I not more successful? I should be here. I should be there. I do all these things. And but it's funny, if you do the comparison game, you're always going to feel like that. Yeah. But the comparison game is a negative game. In its core. Yeah. You can't compare to me. Yeah. I also can't compare to you. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can't compare to me because my journey started when you were a kid. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I can't compare to you because I'm never going to be 25 again. Yeah. I didn't grow up with the tools and capabilities and knowledge base that you have. Yeah. I'm never going to understand. I'm fully okay with this. I'm never going to understand AI and technology into things. I won't put the time into it. It's not worth it to me.
Maybe I can change his mind.
Maybe you can change my mind. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I would rather.
Maybe the AI girlfriend is so good that
maybe it changes my perspective, right? Yeah. But I would rather work with somebody like you. You know, like I said, I don't want to do anything for myself. I'm big on collaboration. Same. I'm big on collaboration. So it's like, if you want to. I'm making a stupid scenario. Yeah. If you want to make an AI girlfriend dating service, but you need a brick and mortar location, you're fucking scared to do this. I got you, bro.
Choose your animatronic. Oh my God, dude. Listen, do you know how many people would?
We just gave somebody a very lucrative idea. Yeah. Please don't do it because it's horrifying for all of humanity. But you know what I mean? But
would that be more morally permissible than a human brothel?
I have
An
no,
AI brothel.
Bro, I have no idea.
Okay, sorry.
It's
Let's
the oldest.
move on.
It's the oldest profession.
I had to ask.
It's the oldest profession.
Like, what would be more morally permissible if it's machines?
It's
Okay.
the oldest profession for a reason.
Yeah.
It's been around since the biblical days.
Yeah, true.
And I wouldn't doubt that half the people that we look at so highly have frequented a brothel. It does
a thing.
happen.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
History also shows it.
Yeah. Like I was a Patriots fan, of course, and we'll move on. Yeah.
Patriots fan. Were you mad when Brady came down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, because I had family originally in Tampa.
Oh, okay.
But ironically moved to Orlando.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, I can just kind of be a pick-me guy and just choose this team now. Right?
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a Browns
Easy.
fan, so I just have horrible luck no matter what.
Yeah.
Football.
Yeah. Exactly.
We've crossed gambits of information over
Yeah.
here. Gary, where are we going with this?
Yeah. When we advertise this for men ages 35 to 55, we're just
question
gonna put
marks.
the football. Yeah.
So when we advertise that, when we figure out the title for this episode, it's going to be 4 question marks.
Oh my God. Yeah. Title's gonna be interesting on this one. Yeah.
So, anything else that you just have on your mind from your list of things that you wanted to go over?
Yeah.
Did you have a list of things?
Yeah, I have a list of things.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I want to
for sure.
see. I want to see them real quick.
For sure.
We'll do a quick without getting
Lightning?
into
Lightning round.
We'll do a lightning round.
Yeah.
Without getting into some ridiculous shit like creating a brick and mortar AI girlfriend service.
Yeah. Perfect.
Which may happen.
Put that to the side. I'm not investing because I have morals.
I'm not investing.
All right. Okay. So right now, not everything, but still almost everything depends on me.
Okay.
Okay. Like logistically.
Okay.
How do I earn the right to replace myself in the logistics of the business without breaking it?
Read the book by Dan Sullivan, Who Not How.
Okay.
That's the first one. Who Not How. Yeah, seriously, like this changed me. The book Who Not How by Dan Sullivan. He was one of my business coaches. I don't make anything from this. I don't care if you buy it or not. What I'm telling you,
affiliate.
yeah, affiliate code Tomo. Stupid. So if you really want to understand what the importance, the true importance of duplicating yourself, you're not meant to build your furniture, even though you enjoy it. And if you enjoy it, do it because you enjoy it. Not because you're trying to save money or not because you're trying to, I don't have to have somebody else do this. No, I am so focused. All right. God has a plan for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
God has a plan for you and he's giving you gifts. You're aware?
True.
Okay. True. So by taking energy away from you focusing on those gifts and not finding the proper who to do the how that you're trying to figure out, you are diverting from your plan. It's a very precise and heavy way to look at it. And you don't have to look at everything like that. I'm not saying, no, God wouldn't want me to do those dishes because, honey, God does not want me to do those dishes. That's not what I'm good at.
Yeah.
Don't do that, by the way. Yeah, it's not my calling.
Yeah.
But when you really look at it from a business perspective, all these things are reliant on you. So you're like, okay, well, this is taking a lot of my energy and time. What are the things that you are doing every day that take a lot of your energy and time and you find to be not as enjoyable or stressful or stressful to you, like a negative stress, not a you stress version? Mm-hmm. Those things, find people to do that. Find the who to do that how. Don't worry about duplicating yourself because it's going to happen naturally as you start to basically let those who's start to kind of like fan yourself out. And then you get really hyper focused. And then when you're doing the things that you actually enjoy and you're really good at, because by the way, when you do things that you're really good at, you fucking enjoy them. Yeah, it's kind of simple.
No, I'm in the deep trenches with our AI and everything. Yeah, so that leads into my next question, actually, which was just talking objectively about deploying capital and risk, right? So I feel like self-management of risk is the big equation there, at least from my perspective. My concern, right, is like right now I could give you the 10 ideas that need to be implemented in the next quarter.
Yep.
I could tell you who could probably do half of them. Okay. And like I'll need to find people for the other half. But then if I were to execute that right now, I'd drain the bank account.
Okay.
But they're great ideas.
Sure.
They're high leverage. It's just like that's objectively not a smart idea because I have payroll and I have this and the other. So when it comes to where you find your float of risk from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
With respect to what you just talked about with who, not how.
Yeah.
Where do you find your sweet spot? Where's that like juicy?
There is no sweet spot. That's
Okay.
that's the fucking horrible part about it, right?
Yeah.
There's no sweet spot. And,
Ever.
and no,
Even as you scale.
there's never a sweet spot, bro.
Oh, yeah.
I'm making more money than I've ever have in my entire life right now. Today.
Yeah.
I just today. Literally today.
Mm.
I just made more money this month than I ever have in any other month in my entire life.
That's awesome.
It's all gone already.
Shit.
How does that fucking feel?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. All of it's gone. But you have to have a nest.
It's not.
Momo.
Of course I do.
got the
But that's
Lambo
of course I do. I'm not saying I'm broke, guys. I'm not saying I can't afford bills.
Yeah.
Right. But you know, when somebody looks at that, it's like, holy shit. You know, I'll give you a random. Let's say that was $100,000 this month.
Mm.
Okay. I just made $100,000 first time ever. $100,000 a month. Great. Fucking in my bank. All good. What is that money doing right now? The whole idea of like no risk, no story kind of thing.
It's actually losing value due to inflation. It's kind of
Correct.
sitting there.
So are you holding a certain amount of money in because of those bills? Or are you holding it in because that's a comfortable number to look at on a screen? So can you deploy every single idea? You have your top 10 ideas. Can you deploy every single idea today, right now? And would it be smart to drain you to absolutely zero and then have to worry and stress about making enough money to then pay the bills? No, that's fucking dumb.
Okay.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
Right? Do you risk not being able to feed your child and pay your mortgage? Although I did do that. I didn't have a child. I didn't have a wife at the time. I did that. When I started Aspire, I stopped paying my mortgage, stopped paying my car payment, stopped paying all credit card bills. Credit score went down to the low 500s.
Sure.
But I was like,
But you didn't die.
I was like, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, you didn't die.
What's the worst that I go become a cop again and I'm broke. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah. And then you debt resettle or whatever. Yeah.
Whatever. I don't care. I didn't care. At that point, it was, I'm going to fail or I'm going to die. And since I literally couldn't die, I wasn't going to starve to death. Had a little bit of fat on me. It's fine. You know, I went hungry a couple of nights. It's fine. But when you're running a business, okay, so you have these 10 ideas. All 10 ideas will drain you to zero. What's stopping you from deploying 5?
Sure.
Nothing.
Nothing.
It's just because you like seeing the number on the screen.
Okay.
Bro, I bought cars when I shouldn't have because it got me into circles. I bought a watch when I shouldn't have because it got me into circles. I bought a membership at Learn House right down there because it got me into circles.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Was it smart business and financial moves? No. Was it going to bankrupt me right that second? No.
No.
Was it a gut feeling and a calculated risk that I was taking that maybe nobody else understood?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Maybe, you know, because I already do that. I already float the risk somewhere in the middle. Right.
And that's smart.
Okay.
But don't fuck up an opportunity.
Yeah.
Because of a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Because money's easy.
For sure.
Do you agree?
Yeah. Yes and no. Yes and no.
Why no?
I would say that money can corrupt very quickly.
Is money easy to make?
Yes.
Perfect. That's all that matters.
Yeah. It's also easy to, I mean, you look at like shows like Scarface, right? And I've seen examples that have been very close to me, like business partners that were bringing in heavy affiliate traffic that like they went down, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so I've seen, it's more of a tool relationship with the money rather than.
That's all money is.
Yeah.
That's
but
all
people
money.
worship it. That's the problem.
Correct.
Yeah.
But if we can get people understanding their perspective, and I talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
Money is a tool.
Yeah.
It's just a tool that you can buy back your time with, that can get you less stress, that can get you just behaving more of how you really want to behave.
Yeah.
When you don't have it, it's the only thing that you think about.
That's all you think about.
It's all you think about.
And I feel like you buy freedom, right?
You do.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a balance there, you know, but when it comes to money, don't worry about money.
No.
Now,
agree.
take care of your kids, take care of your wife,
Yeah.
make sure you have a roof over your head.
Yeah.
But you people that are saving a fucking nest egg, you people that are like saving away, and it's like putting money away for retirement. You're 25, you're 30.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
You have a lot of time left. I'm not saying don't save for those golden years, which is, by the way, a bullshit ploy by corporations. There is no golden years.
Yeah.
My plan, work until I'm dead.
Same.
Till I'm fucking dead.
Yeah.
I just may be working on a yacht or in a jet.
Right. Yeah.
Or, you know, wherever I may be working, maybe my Dubai penthouse, maybe my Croatia villa on the water.
Yeah.
Who knows? but I'm going to work until I'm fucking dead.
Same.
And here's the reason is because there is no glory life after work.
No.
So I don't worry about money.
Dude, I love it.
I don't worry about money. It's all going to come back to me. And I don't, by the way, this is my new thing. I've been saying this for a while. I stopped saying that I spend money.
Okay.
I start saying that I circulate money.
Nice.
Because when I say I circulate money, what does that mean? It's come back.
No, it does. And it does.
And it does.
Yeah.
I circulate money all the time. Yeah. I circulated a shitload of money with that Lamborghini.
Tomo's bankers looking at him like, I know you made it sound sexier, but
dude, I have there's a story there's a story where I lost $250,000 almost on a business proposition.
Yeah.
And everybody it was right in that office, right there, right behind that wall.
No,
everybody's freaking out. Everybody's freaking out.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there smiling.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you lost it. That's fine.
Yeah. Like, I know it's going to hurt, but I've been here before.
No, it wasn't even that.
Yeah.
I was like, guys, isn't it fucking cool? We can lose $250,000 and nobody's like hungry and we all have our jobs still and everybody's banks has money in it. And like, I'm like, we just lost $250,000 and nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'm like, no. We actually don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
We're just complaining.
Yeah.
What are the lessons we learned?
Yeah. That's huge. Yeah.
That's how I look at money.
But no, I was just making the offside joke. Like, I'm going to start telling like my parents, my girl, like, I'm circulating, you know what I'm saying? It's a circulation, but it's true. It comes with what you give, you get back.
What was the first thing that I noticed about you? Your suit, that costs money.
Yeah.
Your shoes, I noticed those, and your watch.
Yeah.
All those things are money.
You know what's funny though about me, Tomo, is because this is the first time we met, right? But unless you and I had to dress for something important like this, or we had to go to a networking event or whatever, if you were just barbecuing with me, hanging out with me,
sure,
man, I would choose a hoodie that covers the whole face on me and the sweatpants all day long. You catch me at Target, I'll be in a hoodie and sweatpants, right?
Totally get it.
I keep it low key. And so it's funny that's just the first thing you notice about, because if you were to...
But you came in here to make a good impression, right?
It's an important podcast.
But if you didn't come here to make an impression and you didn't give a shit about that, you would have came in a hoodie.
Yeah.
You came in here.
But that's also a sign of disrespect.
It is.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
You know, but you're not, when you're at Target, if I ran into you, I already know you.
Yeah.
I already know you.
It's the funny thing. But if you ask me, the reason I bring that up is because if you ask me, like, what's the one thing you want to be known for?
Sure.
It's like, it is just like, I want to be known for being like a good dude. I just want to be known for being a chill guy that helps people and is philanthropic and nice.
Yep.
That's my legacy.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why I love the work until you die thing, because I fully agree. But the reason I do it, and you can probably identify with this largely, is like, I just think it's like crack. It's so much fun.
It's so much fun.
It's so much fun. Even when it's hard. It's like a big jigsaw puzzle. Like, I haven't stopped being a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I went from Legos to engineering school to Apple to like physical products to AI. I'm building random crap and I love it. Right?
It's fun.
I'm like 5 in my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because you love it and because it resonates with you and because you have a drive towards it and because you understand what success is, you have an idea what success is.
I have a taste.
You have a taste of it.
Yeah.
Right? You may not think that you're successful. You're clearly successful.
Appreciate that.
You are.
You know, have you ever looked up percentages on your stats, right? So I was curious, right? Because my friend's like, dude, you're more successful than you think. Research this. So I go
like
on.
you're like for your age.
Yeah.
And stuff
So I'm like,
that?
okay, I go to the gym like 3-4 days a week. I like eat kind of okay. I like, you know.
Well, you're not fat. You're not out of shape, right?
I would like to think so. But I'm the leanest I've been. I just ran a marathon last week.
Congratulations.
There you go. Appreciate
that. I don't even want to drive a marathon.
Oh, I hate running.
Yeah,
but we did it. We did it. But I was like, so I looked up these like what I think are menial things, right? And it's like, I got to a point, I like deep dove like WebMD or whatever.
Yeah.
I got to a point where it's like, if you buy your own groceries, you are in the top 5th percentile of America. It's like, bro, like, what are you talking about? You ever done that?
I've done it.
Scary.
I've done it not with that kind of granular detail.
No, and it's funny when you get into it. I'm
Yeah.
what are I asked ChatGPT, what are basic statistics that I would think would be a higher percentage that are low? Like getting your own groceries. People, I think it's like 80-90% of people like the Instacart.
Yeah.
No, like
sure.
actually.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, really? People can afford the fees? People just choose to do that. I'm shocked.
Convenience.
Now I get a lot of your messaging and what you do, because I'm like, it's deeper than I thought. It's not just like hydrogenated oil. It's like y'all are sitting there.
People are fucking lazy, bro.
Yeah.
They're lazy. And what did you just say? You love the work. You love the output. And
I think everyone can.
But nobody does, because you want the biggest problem that people have now is they avoid anything that is perceived as potentially hard. That's what it is. Yeah. It's that simple. Yeah. Half the people that are going to watch this, if they got this far, or if this becomes a reel, half the people are unsuccessful because they won't go through the hard. They won't go through that difficult point that if they just stuck with it just this much more. Yeah. You know what? I actually found this. This is a really cool percentage. I'm going to find this off X. But if they just stuck through some of this just difficult time, they'd be successful. Yeah. I mean, you're 25-year-old. What's your company doing revenue-wise, if you don't mind asking?
Annual?
Yeah.
400.
Sick, bro. That's sick.
I get a small piece of that pie, but that's how it should be.
It's sick.
I try to keep my distributions low. So I take home probably 10 to 15 a month.
Okay. Sick. Yeah. I'm going to give you guys these percentages. You're going to enjoy these. Here's what competition really looks like. 54% are too afraid to try. That's most of you. Too afraid to even try. Too afraid to even fucking take the first step. 27% of you will quit as soon as it gets hard. Right? But 54% didn't even try. They didn't get the first step.
Okay.
10% will move too slow and miss their goal. That's why I talk about not being afraid of money. Because you're slow, because you're worried, because you're scared about something that is such a renewable piece of nothing.
Yeah. And that's probably a grab bag of variables.
100%.
Not moving fast enough.
100%.
Not telling people things.
100%. Yeah. It could be a myriad of things, but 10%. Yeah. We're getting low right now, right?
Yeah.
8% will get distracted with shiny objects. The cars, the fucking watches, the girls, all the bullshit.
Powerful. Yeah.
Because they made it, but then they get fucked up.
That's why I
lose the mission.
Yeah. I had to choose monogamy because of that.
So what does this leave us with? 1%.
Like, yeah.
1%.
Oh, the ones who make it.
The ones who make it. Absolutely. I wrote this out like 2 days ago.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
Right next.
Yeah.
So that fear, that comfort, that procrastination, the distraction, that's the reason that you're unsuccessful. You know, the reason you're unsuccessful, it's not because of anything else. It's not because of you. It's not because of some plan. It's not because of your competitors. It's because literally most of you won't even try.
Yeah.
The rest of you will quit as soon as it gets hard.
Right.
And then most of you will just get...
Yeah, what do we got into, like, taking a deep breath got us into, like, the 80 percentile or something.
Yeah. It's fucking crazy. It's crazy. Success is literally out there for so many people to grab, but why are most people that are in the 1%, and believe it or not, you are in the 1%?
Which is crazy.
Which is crazy, because you don't feel like it.
No.
Gary, who is the laziest person in the world to me? Yeah. No, not Gary.
Not Gary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel that. Yeah.
And like me and him were talking about it last time we were in Dubai. We didn't fucking stop.
Yeah.
We didn't stop for days.
I love it. Don't you like cracking that Red Bull in Dubai at like 10 p.m.?
This is the thing. We were barely even drinking caffeine. It was just pure energy and drive.
It's the best.
And me and him were looking at each other like, do you believe what we just did in 4 days?
Yeah.
And there were still multiple days left.
Yeah.
But it's like, but still, I'm like, man, I feel like I didn't maximize that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
People look at us like we're psychos.
Yeah.
But why are we the 1%?
Yeah.
Why? Because we don't care about the pain that it takes to get through that.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about losing sleep. I'm not worried about getting stressed.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about getting extra gray hair.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about missing a TV show or a football game or some bullshit. The easiest path to success is stop trying to live an easy life.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think the biggest flex too, with respect to what you said at the last part there, is us being able to conjure the ability, like I can watch an episode of Netflix if I want to. Like it's not going to decrease the performance of a certain KPI that much. Like the business will still be fine. I just won't do it 5 times in a week. But I can have the flexibility to do that. You know, if my girl wants to watch 1 episode of this brand new thing, 100% let's do it.
Yeah,
right?
you're going to hate it, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sure, right? Yeah. Track record, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like that's the real flex, is the freedom aspect. And money is just like a vector. Yeah. And I think that what I've really appreciated about life so far in the pain aspect is I love the feeling, and this is probably bullied kid speaking, but I love the feeling of like showing the world that I tolerate insane, vast levels of pain.
Oh,
right?
That's why I was so happy you got bullied.
Like
I'm like, good.
I was like, good, right?
Good.
And it's not like I have
because you're not fucked up about it.
I don't need external validation.
By the way, none of you are actually fucked up about being bullied.
Yeah.
You're just playing victim.
True. Yeah.
You're actually just playing victim.
It's true.
He could play victim, so could I. I was bullied too.
Yeah.
Bro, my name is Tomo.
Yeah.
I went by Tomo. What rhymes with Tomo?
Yeah. Like Tamagotchi, did you get that?
No.
That's cool. No. Okay.
No, it was
That's a new one I pulled on him.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but dude, like, yeah, I agree, right? And I don't need the external validation.
Yep.
I don't know if you relate.
Yeah.
But you get that little high where it's like I posted my marathon reel on Instagram.
How'd I feel?
And I was like the lowest in PE class. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And we're talking about like a 7-year difference from senior year of high school.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, you're young. Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I know y'all are. Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But then I move on. Right. And you get to the next thing.
It's not bad to revel in your accomplishments.
Yeah.
And it's not bad to remember where you came from.
Yeah.
As long as you don't sit there and you're the 45-year-old guy who still talks about when he was the high school football star.
Right?
What movie was that? Napoleon Dynamite?
Yeah. My best years. We all have a my best years guy at the Thanksgiving
If
table.
your next year in your head isn't your best year, you're fucking up.
No, it's true.
If your next, I'm going to say it again for you. If your next year is not your best year in your brain, if you aren't forecasting that next year is going to be your best year, you're fucking up in life.
I never realized it until you just said it now. Like, actually, if I think about it, because if we go back to the debt period and all that 2 years ago, I think objectively that year was better than the year before, hands down. Because the year before I was like a shithead partying this, that, and the other, even with a business in tow.
Yeah.
And like, even though I had more money sitting in reserves, which is ironic we talked about that, but like the next year was like, let's go through the valley of the shadow of death. But that was like a battle. I can put that scar on me. And then the year after was like objective growth. This year's objective growth and doing the right offer with the right company.
Yeah.
And now it's like,
and what's your next year looking like?
Oh, dude.
Sick.
No, get ready.
Yeah.
It's insane. We have crazy partnerships in the works right now.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Everybody can do that.
Yeah. Just be a nice guy and talk to people.
Half the battles.
That's like what I realized
Yeah.
when I network. Dude, I'm just like a kid and I talk to dudes and girls that also do cool things with money and business. And then like they want to like sell something to me and then I want to sell something to them and then we partner and then we execute. And then before you know it, you wake up and you're like, oh, that was a cool thing that I did with that person.
And
there's literally nothing more than that.
And everybody made money. And everybody left in a happy way. And everybody got some success out of it. And if you didn't make money off it, you learned something, you got a new friend. Shit, it's simple. Life's simple.
Yeah. And this internet space is literally high school. I don't know how to tell it to people, but it's like I haven't left high school.
Yeah.
Right? Don't you feel that way a little?
Listen, I sometimes revel in what is going on in my life. It just doesn't sometimes compute. Yeah. And he and I made an agreement we filmed this podcast in February in Dubai and we stopped saying crazy, like this is crazy. So it's like we earned this.
Yeah. We
earned this because it's not crazy.
No.
You really look at your story. It's not crazy that you're successful. You fucking worked for it. You earned it.
Yeah.
You bought a Rolex 25 years old. How old was I when I bought a Rolex? You just bought your first Rolex this year.
Foolishly at 24 years old when
24
I had a
years
good
old.
month. Yeah.
Sick, bro. Yeah. But listen, that's cool accomplishment. That's an entrepreneur trophy.
Sure.
I've called every watch, car, anything. I call them entrepreneurship trophies. Yeah. Just little trophies.
I think the big trophy is this. That's the shiny. That's
feeling
the
good.
Super Bowl trophy.
Feeling good.
Yeah.
Feeling good.
Yeah.
And when you feel good inside in your heart, in your mind, in your soul, and you feel like you're on the right path, you're not fucking people over, you're doing the right thing.
The not fucking people over is huge, by the way.
But it shows.
Yeah.
It shows in your demeanor. It shows in your smile.
Yeah.
It shows in the way you approach people.
Yeah.
You can tell when somebody's weighted down.
Yeah.
And it's because they're usually fucking people over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Like I can tell when they might be doing good materially, but I can tell when their heart is not aligned.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't envy that. Not at all.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Never do it.
Yeah.
And that's why I want you to look at your competition in the way that you look at it. I want you to go talk to them. I bet you they're not on the same
mission. You know what I'm
mission.
going to do, Tomo?
Let me hear it.
Balls deep.
Let me hear it.
I'm going to clip the part of the podcast and send it to them.
That's fucking wild.
I'll be like, let's do it. We can both eat. What am I going to do? Directly poach your client? Probably not. Because you have a funnel over here and I have one over here.
You also don't.
So why don't we get together?
You also don't want that karma.
No.
You don't need that.
No.
You don't.
It's invisible karma. I don't need that shit in my life. right?
I love it, bro. Anything else?
One more question.
Let's go. Last question.
Yeah, this is a big ticket one.
Last question.
Okay.
And then we're gonna go smoke some shisha.
Yeah, boy.
What do you think, Gary? You coming?
Let's do it. Gary's got to come. You got to come over. This is the one.
All right.
How did you personally learn to let go of control without letting go of standards?
I don't know if I fully let go of control. I'm a little bit of a control freak.
That's why I asked.
Yeah. No, it's a good question. Letting go of standards. So that's a different. I don't equate them, and I'm wondering why you do. Give me your mindset on that.
Okay.
So I can answer more properly.
I feel like everything's a standard. So
okay.
Like esoterically, like for example, I give you an example. The way that you and I are symmetrical on this podcast is a standard, but it's implicit. We just didn't know it.
Sure.
The way that we looked in each other's eyes and shook hands professionally was a standard.
I got it.
We just didn't know it.
Understood. Okay.
Letting go to make sure others beneath you in the organization set the standards, like truly letting go.
Understood. Got it.
Where do you isolate standards? Like where will you bridge yourself in 10 years from now and aspire in your other businesses?
You know what I think is the most important thing that entrepreneurs forget to do is establish their value system and what the standards and the mission actually is in their company. That's one of the and I'm not just saying like establish it by hiring the right people. I'm saying establish it. I'm saying have it fucking written down.
Yeah, like the posters.
Put it. This is the mission statement of Aspire Rejuvenation Clinic. This is the mission statement. These are the standards. This is how we will approach all things.
Yeah.
You know, and 3 pillars that I approach everything on, you know, is honor, integrity, you know, and basically honor and integrity span a huge gambit, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, well, you know, being honest. Yeah, it's part of integrity. You know, having integrity for your family name.
Yeah.
You know,
Just
honor.
Don't be a schmuck. Yeah.
Honor.
Yeah.
Honor is something nobody talks about anymore.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, if I'm establishing the way that I want to be perceived, everything that I therefore touch or have my hands in needs to have a very clear set of guidelines. If you are not walking with honor and integrity in everything that you do while you represent Aspire and in your outside life from Aspire, it's not just during while you're working.
Yeah.
If you're an ass outside of work,
Yeah.
you're still representing my organization.
Yeah.
You're representing me.
That's true.
Right? So, you know, yes, hiring the right people and understanding people are going to not be the same as you is one thing.
Yeah.
But when you're relinquishing control, making sure that you relinquish control with a clear set of guidelines and standards and procedures and operations that I'm talking about from a personal perspective that they can follow, because most companies don't even have it.
So you're looking for that point where it's embodied in the person rather than embodied on the document or the piece of paper.
You're building a culture.
Okay.
And everybody can adhere to a culture that is of good standing.
Yeah. What's interesting is I'm in pre-culture stage, if you would call it that.
Sure.
But what I should probably do, as I've learned now, is when I go home, I'll build a codex. I'll build a mission statement.
That's it.
Because even though I'm pre-culture, what I mean by that is digital agency where it's a little more fragmented and on a contract basis.
Yes.
There's still a culture.
Absolutely.
Someone's going to come in.
Absolutely.
Hopefully I know my shit.
Yeah.
So you got a good point there.
Yeah. But the culture right now can be just you. Anybody that talks to you, you are the culture.
Yeah.
But as you start to expand and duplicate and relinquish control, and start to have people that are doing things that you are not needing to do anymore, they need to follow your culture code. So bringing your culture code out in the open and saying, this is the culture code of X of my company. Yeah. And you will fit this culture code or you will not be in this company.
I messed up with V1.0 as we call it now. Now everyone knows my phase before the debt and everything. But in that phase, dude, I had a team, like I had 2 guys salaried.
Yeah.
I don't have that now because I'm still, but
sure.
I had 2 guys salaried, and that's where I messed up. If I really had to meta-analyze, great systems, great processes, dialed in CRM, gorgeous business in a box, right? Because I'm an engineer. But where do engineers fail? In the feng shui, in the interpersonal, right?
In the emotional, in the interpersonal, it's got to be sexy.
Yeah. My mission statement was Wake your ass up at 7 in the morning. We're
Yeah.
getting on Discord.
Get to work.
We're getting on Discord, right? So yeah,
Awesome, man. Oh, dude, listen, these questions are this is a good podcast.
I loved it.
This was
That's fun.
this is probably one of my favorite podcasts I've ever done
Oh,
because
man.
it was so fun to just go through this. I mean, we went into almost every like the no-goes conversationally, right? We went to religion. Yeah, we went to religion,
I
politics.
got something for you, by the way. I know you're gonna conclude.
Yeah.
I got something.
You got some?
Yeah, I got something. Should we?
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
Let's do it. So the paper, I'm gonna go out of frame, and you're gonna get bad shots. It's okay, Gary. That's fine. Right, Gary,
He's fine.
Gary might forgive me.
All right.
Okay. All right.
He got something. Let's
it's
see what
like
this
the
is.
OG mail wrap. So
I like it. This is good. Here, bring your mic so everybody can hear you talking still.
it's in the OG mail wrapping. So we're gonna go really like
We'll just move your mic out so you can.
this. I promise you, this thing will snail probably to that freaking tripod over there.
All right, let's see what we got.
I wanted to make sure it would break on the way here. Kyle put me on to this vendor, of course, because he knows you.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Good dude.
Shout out. So I got you a Tomo Talks engraved cigar box.
Sick, bro.
Yeah, dude.
This is awesome.
Little thing.
It's got a
I
hydrometer
know you
built
smoke
in.
cigars.
Yes. So
Cigars.
Tomo Talk cigar box. This is going to go in the
There
new
you go.
studio for sure.
Yeah, man.
And then we're going to have smoke eaters actually in there, so we're going to be able to
Yeah.
smoke cigars in
There
the
you
new
go.
studio.
Yeah.
Gary, we got to get that all situated, bro.
Beautiful.
Check that out.
Get some Cohibas in there.
Of
There you go.
course.
Oh, yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you, bro.
Of course, brother.
I appreciate
Yeah,
you, man.
no
Thank you
worries,
so
man.
much.
Yeah.
Listen,
So-
this is a great conversation. I know and I feel like you got a little bit from it. I got a lot from you as well.
I got a lot from you, man.
And I'm really hoping that people that watch this,
Mhm.
even if they get that one little nugget,
Yeah.
you're walking with a few nuggets, and I'm excited to see you implement them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for everybody watching, guys, we didn't know each other,
Mhm.
and now we're friends.
Pretty cool.
This is what business is about.
Yeah.
This is what being a good person is about. This is what having a good mission is about. This is how actual business happens.
Yeah.
This is real shit.
Yeah.
We just happen to do it on camera for you
There you
instead of doing it at a dinner.
Yeah, right. Awesome, man.
Thanks, man.
Thanks,
Appreciate
man.
you coming on.
Appreciate you. Yeah, thank you.